It began with the hum. At first, the farmers thought it was a mechanical glitch. Some new construction nearby, maybe, or faulty power lines. The sound was subtle, more felt than heard, a vibration beneath their feet, deep in their bones. But as days passed, the hum grew louder, almost alive, reverberating through the quiet fields of Crescent Valley. Stranger still, the earth began to change. Crops that once thrived wilted overnight. Cows refused to graze, their eyes wild with fear. At night, the animals wailed, their cries echoing across the valley like a warning no one could understand. Local authorities brushed off the concerns. Soil contamination, they said. Maybe a minor seismic event. But the farmers knew better. They had lived on this land for generations, and something was wrong, deeply, terrifyingly wrong. The government finally sent a research team after reports of unnatural disturbances reached the media. Among the team was Dr. Eliza Hart, a renowned geologist who had spent years studying Earth's mysteries. Eliza was used to peculiar assignments, but this one felt different. The moment she stepped off the helicopter and onto the barren fields, she felt it, the hum, faint but constant, like a warning whispered from the earth itself. "This isn't seismic activity," Eliza muttered, staring at her equipment. The readings were erratic, showing energy patterns she had never seen before. "It's something else." The team began to investigate. They set up ground-penetrating radar, dug test pits, and collected soil samples. On the second day, they struck something unusual. Beneath 30 feet of soil, buried in the dark, lay a black sphere. It was perfectly smooth, its surface cold to the touch, and it pulsed faintly, as though alive. The hum grew louder the closer they got to it, sending tremors through their bodies. "What is it?" one of the researchers whispered, his voice trembling. Eliza knelt beside the sphere, her fingers hovering over its surface. "It doesn't look natural," she said. "But it doesn't look like technology, either." Curiosity got the better of her. She touched it. The moment her skin met the sphere, a shock coursed through her body. She fell back, clutching her head as visions flooded her mind. Endless tunnels deep beneath the earth. Vast, lightless chambers filled with writhing shapes. A presence, ancient and overwhelming, pressing into her consciousness like a vice. A voice, deep and guttural, echoed in her mind, "You are trespassers. This land is ours." The earth beneath them trembled. Before anyone could react, the ground collapsed, swallowing the team into darkness. They landed in a massive cavern, its walls glistening with moisture. The air was thick and stifling, illuminated by eerie bioluminescent fungi. The cavern stretched endlessly in all directions, and the floor pulsed beneath their feet, as though alive. Eliza was the first to rise, her head spinning. She glanced around, her heart pounding as she took in the surroundings. "Where are we?" she whispered, though she already knew the answer. The others stirred, groaning in pain. One researcher pointed a trembling finger toward the shadows. "What is that?" They emerged from the darkness, tall, grotesque figures that defied logic. Their bodies were a horrifying blend of flesh and metal, their limbs long and spindly, ending in razor-sharp claws. Their eyeless faces glowed faintly, and their movements were unnervingly silent. The team froze, paralyzed by fear. One of the creatures stepped forward, tilting its head as though studying them. It raised a clawed hand and made a guttural sound that resonated in their minds, "You are the invaders." Panic erupted. The researchers scattered, their screams echoing through the cavern. But the creatures moved too fast, their limbs a blur as they dragged the humans into the shadows one by one. Eliza ran, her heart pounding in her ears. She didn't know where she was going, only that she had to escape. She stumbled into a narrow tunnel, her breathing ragged. The walls around her seemed to close in, pulsating like a living thing. She tripped and fell, landing hard on the damp ground. Before she could rise, she felt a presence behind her. She turned, trembling, to see one of the creatures standing over her. It didn't attack. Instead, it extended a clawed hand, and its voice echoed in her mind, "You've awakened us. The earth is ours." Eliza's mind reeled as the truth became clear. These weren't invaders from another world, they were ancient. They had lived beneath the earth for millennia, long before humanity ever walked its surface. They had retreated underground, waiting, sleeping, as the surface world evolved. Now, humanity's interference had awakened them. The creature stepped back, leaving Eliza trembling in the dark. She could do nothing but watch as the others emerged, hundreds, thousands of them, moving silently toward the surface. When Eliza finally clawed her way out of the cavern, the world was unrecognizable. The creatures had spread across the land like a plague, their numbers overwhelming. Cities burned in the distance, their once bright lights extinguished. The skies were dark, the hum now a deafening roar that shook the very air. Humanity tried to fight, but it was futile. These beings were not just ancient, they were invincible, their connection to the earth giving them power beyond comprehension. Eliza stood on a barren hill, watching as the creatures claimed the land, their guttural voices filling the air. "This is our world. You were never meant to rule it." Humanity had always believed it was the master of the earth. But the forgotten lords had returned, and they would not be stopped.